Wanted to come on and give a brief update. Yesterday, June 18th, I attended the House Committee on Ag and Livestock hearing on New World screwworm and some updates from them at this meeting from various stakeholders. So far, there are no new cases of any screwworm animals in any of the current infected and quarantine zones. So there's been a new zone in Tom Green County out towards San Angelo area a few days ago, but any of the existing zones have not seen any more new animals at this time infected. They've also been observing, looking at fly levels in those areas, and the word we got back yesterday was very low fly levels in those areas, which is all a good sign. Looks like numbers are very low, which is positive. And those areas are areas that are receiving the sterile flies at this time, which makes it important if you do find any suspicious animals to report those. That's the fastest way to get the sterile flies in your area to combat it. Let's try and keep it isolated in pockets. Also, all the current traps that have been deployed, several thousand traps all up and down the Texas border, have yielded not a single screwworm fly, New World screwworm fly in any of those traps, which is also a very positive sign. Means it's a very limited amount of flies that have incurred over into Texas at this time. Had good updates from USDA, positive progress on the fly facilities both in Panama and in Mexico. We're getting our portion of flies brought up at this time. They also talked about the Novo fly, which is a male-only version of the fly that will allow the current facilities and the new facility that's being built in Texas to double their capacity. They're fast-tracking this Novo fly variety to get it all the way through all the approvals. But they're very hopeful and excited that this will double the capacity of current facilities producing, the Mexico facility that's coming online shortly in a matter of weeks, and the facility that's coming online in Texas next year. Currently, they produce male and female flies, and really it's only the males that we're looking for. So if they can produce just males, they can double their capacity. So they're thinking at current capacity they produce 400 or 500 million projected. That's half female, half males. If they can do the Novo fly, then essentially they could do 400 or 500 million a week of just sterile males, which would really be a great thing. Back in the 60s and 70s, the numbers I've heard are somewhere around that 500,000 flies a week was what was used to knock back the screwworm into Mexico and then further down in the Darien Gap at that time. So if we can just meet that number, but not only meet it, but exceed it, that allows us to tamp down any outbreaks much more rapidly. So that was very positive info, but still work in progress, but they're definitely focused on those things. We've also talked about USDA and FDA are both involved in feed through ivermectin research with the folks at Lissy and Eckel. That began, I believe, a couple weeks ago. That's going to be evaluated probably over the next month or so in wildlife and deer particularly. And then those results will be sent off to the lab, and then the finished lab results will go to USDA and FDA for their evaluation and considered for emergency use potentially in wildlife. It did sound like that would be limited to quarantine and infested zones only, and only under vet approval. That's kind of the direction it sounds like it'd be heading. So not blanket available everywhere. It would just be available in high-risk areas where there is an outbreak or threat of an outbreak. If you're in a quarantine zone, then if it does pass approval, you would have access to ivermectin-based feeds under the supervision of a veterinarian. You would need to show your animal numbers, so you can get proper dosage of how many cc's per pound of feed. There's all these type of conversions that need to be considered. So we're trying to medicate the wildlife properly and not underdosing and not overdosing. So they did also say that preliminary information looked positive from that study. So that train is going down the track. Looks like it's going to have a positive outcome. Still remains to be seen, but that's kind of the framework that looks like it's being discussed about. But of course, that's subject to change. Just wanted to kind of communicate what I was hearing from the meeting and conversations around that. It does look like since we haven't had any new cases in the current outbreak zones, that those seem to be very isolated. I think in my conversations with Parks and Wildlife and listening yesterday, I think we're going to make it through this fawning season with little to no impact of screwworm on the fawns. But of course, stay vigilant. Go ahead and start running your trail cameras. If you see anything that's suspicious, send those pictures in to Parks and Wildlife. I received a call from Parks and Wildlife this weekend, just bringing my awareness of screwworm. I've seen a lot of lunch and learns, ag service, agri-wildlife, extension service to an educational. So it looks like everyone's really getting the word out about how to identify things, what to do, what not to do. It's very fluid and changing, but it looks like there's a lot of communication that's going on. So if you're still having questions or concerns, reach out to your extension agent, your veterinarian, or call your Parks and Wildlife representative to try and get the most current information, because some things are kind of changing and in motion. So report anything suspicious. If you do have a positive screwworm in your area, those areas are the ones receiving the sterile flies. So they're trying to focus all the resources to combat and tamp out wherever the flies are found, to try and push them back out of the state and not let them build up any type of a mass swarm here. And so far, so good. That looks like that's going well. So I just kind of wanted to give you a brief update from that meeting at the Capitol. Both Hunter Barrett with Fortified Cottonseed, he's also partnered Cottonseed Bale, and I were in attendance along with many other stakeholders yesterday. Hunter actually got up and testified yesterday, but we're trying to stay engaged and communicate what we're hearing back out to everybody online, social media. If you have any questions, reach out to those folks, give us a call. We'll try and point you in the right direction. But keep up the good work, keep communicating, don't go rogue, stay vigilant. Thank you.